Hey, what's up you guys? Today I am doing a video that I have never done before, and that is giving some 5-star predictions from books on my physical TBR, and then one that isn't on my physical TBR yet, but I will be reading this year. And I've never really done this video before because I just feel like it's hard to explain why you think a book's going to be 5 stars, like other than just saying it's like the vibes that it gives or like other people's reviews. But I have a list that I'm pretty confident all of them will be 5 stars, and I'm super excited for all of them. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and then it'll be fun to look back on this video at the end of the year and see if my predictions were correct. And fingers crossed they will be, because I will be very disappointed if they are not. I was inspired to do this video by my friend Lisa, who just did this video. I know it's a very common like YouTube thing, but it was Lisa's that made me think, okay, I'm going to give this a try. So I will link that in the description if you want to go check it out after you watch this. But without further ado, if you enjoy this video, please leave a like, please subscribe, and let's just get started. The first book that I think will be 5 stars is Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare, and this is the third book in the Dark Artifices series. And the reason I think this will be 5 stars is because I just love how Cassandra Clare always wraps up her series. Book 3 of The Infernal Devices, and book 3 of The Mortal Instruments, and book 6 of The Mortal Instruments. But Mortal Instruments kind of is like 2 series put together. There's like 2 complete trilogies in it, but the finale books of all of these series has been so perfect. She ties everything up so well. There's always like the perfect amount of like twists and turns and big reveals and like plot twists, and I just absolutely love everything about how she like wraps up her series. And she always like makes them so like heartfelt, and you just get like the perfect amount of every character, like just a little bit wrap up to all of their stories, and everything just comes together really well. So I think that Queen of Air and Darkness will be the exact same, hopefully, and just like completely fulfill everything that I want from the Shadowhunters series. Next, I have Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, and the copy I have is a combination of all 4 first books in the series put together, so it's like just one book in my opinion, for me anyway. And I absolutely love Ursula K. Le Guin's writing. I have read The Lathe of Heaven and The Word for World is Forest, which are both sci-fi books, and they were adult, and they were both in my top 10 books of 2020, and Ursula K. Le Guin was in my like new favourite authors video as well. I just absolutely love her writing. I love how she brings in all these different like elements of like nature and colonialism and just so many like different concepts and theories, and like makes them interesting and fun and like thought-provoking. And I'm assuming that Earthsea will be the exact same. I've heard it as very much like, you know, a lot to do with nature as well, and I'm absolutely excited for that. I love like nature description and things like that. And Earthsea is also one of like the staple like fantasy series. It is like very well known, it is very influential, like a lot of fantasy authors like cite this as one of their inspirations, and it's just like very, very well known in the fantasy world. So I'm assuming that I will love it as well, and I just have really high hopes for this book. The next book on my list is If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin, and I absolutely love James Baldwin. I've talked about him in so many videos recently. He was also in my new favourite authors 2020 video. Giovanni's Room was my favourite book of 2020. Another Country didn't make it on that top 10 list, but it was also a 5 star. So I'm assuming that all of his books are going to be 5 star. I really hope so. And If Beale Street Could Talk is about a 19-year-old girl who is pregnant, and her fiance has been falsely accused of a crime, and he is in prison, and we are following her like the 19-year-old and his family and her family, I'm assuming, as they try to get him out of prison. And I'm assuming it will talk about race, as his books always do, because he's black. I'm assuming there's probably going to be some talk of sexuality, because that's kind of a running theme through his books as well. And I've just heard this is like a really unforgettable like love story about people that are in really desperate, hard situations, and I'm just so excited to read it. I absolutely love James Baldwin's writing style. Everything he writes is just so perfectly crafted and like put together, and I just hope that this will be the exact same. Another book that I'm hoping will be 5 stars is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell, and I have been so excited for this book ever since I heard about it, and I finally just got the physical copy today. I have been looking forward to this like forever, and I am so excited to finally get to it. It is a really dark story, but I really like that. I like stories that are like dark and about like taboo topics and stuff like that. So this is about a girl who, when she was in school, was in a relationship with her teacher, and then in the present day the teacher has been arrested because it turns out he was also having affairs with other students. I don't know if you would call it affairs, but he was having inappropriate relationships with other students, and they came forward, and our character, who I'm assuming her name is Vanessa, she is like reflecting back on her relationship and kind of coming to terms with it, because she at the time thought it was like she was in love and this was like a loving relationship, and she's realizing now that it's actually very abusive, and you know, a teacher-student relationship is just not appropriate at all. And it is just going to explore like her coming to terms with this and things like that, and I'm just really looking forward to this. It really just sounds so interesting, like giving a voice to a victim of this situation. And again, I just really love like dark topics that really explore like themes and I guess topics that are like kind of taboo. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I really hope that it will also be 5 stars, because I have been really looking forward to reading it like since forever. The next book is one that I don't actually have on my physical TBR, and that is Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. And I have to be honest, I don't actually know that much about the plot of this. I just know that it is very, very influential in the vampire genre. It is like an absolute classic in like vampire literature, and if you look on like Goodreads, it's like Twilight, Dracula, and then Interview with the Vampire. And I don't really want to know that much before I go into it, other than the fact that I've heard it is really good and a lot of people love it. It is like I said, very, very influential, and was kind of like the inspiration for, I mean, I don't think Twilight would really have existed without Interview with the Vampire, to be honest. And you know, I'm a Twilight fan, and I really just want to explore more vampire books this year. I have like a list of them. I want to do reading vlogs, like comparing different vampire books, and hopefully I'll get to do it. I don't actually want to buy most of them because I can get them from the library, but libraries are shut right now. But anyway, the purpose of this is just to say that I have high hopes for Interview with the Vampire, just because of like how famous it is, how influential it is. Like, it has spawned this multi-million-dollar like franchise. Like, there's so many books. I don't know if I'm going to continue the series. I'm definitely going to read book 1, and I really hope it's going to be just as good as people say it is. Another book that I think will be 5 stars is Battle Royale by Kushin Takami. I hope I said that right. And the reason I think this will be 5 stars is, one, because I love the movie. The movie is like just so good. I actually haven't watched it in like years, so I think I'm gonna wait and read the book and then rewatch it. But I just absolutely love like the concept. It is like the Hunger Games, but more brutal. It is like an adult Hunger Games, but also still with kids, which is just like such a good combination. And it's so dark, it's so gritty, it's so gory. I've heard the book is like the exact same, like just really gory and like intense. And I'm really excited to read it. And I also have heard really good reviews from both Caroline Johnson and Eric from Break Even Books. They both read it in 2020 and they gave it like really good reviews. So they just made me even more excited to read it. Like, it had always been on my radar to read anyway, and then when those two both read it around the same time, I was like, okay, I definitely need to get this book and read it, and now I do, because I got it for Christmas. So hopefully it will be 5 stars, and then I'm excited to also just rewatch the movie, because like I said, it's been a long time. The next book on my list is Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, and I have to be honest, I'm kind of confused about what this book is, because first I heard it was like a multi-generational story about like different generations of this black family, and then I looked it up and it like, I don't know where I got that from, because that is not the description on Goodreads. Goodreads says it's kind of like a coming of age novel, and it follows a young man kind of, I think from birth up until like adulthood, growing up like black in America in I think like the 1930s, 40s maybe, I'm not completely sure. But I'm just really excited to find out what this book actually is. And the reason I have it as a 5 star is just because I've heard that Toni Morrison's writing style is beautiful. I've heard it's like really poetic and descriptive. And I love that when it's not in like a really flowery way. I don't know, it's like there's a fine line, and I think James Baldwin also like is right in that perfect area between like not being flubbery, but like just being descriptive and like poetic, and like his words like really mean something. Like every word gets you invested in the story rather than like the words just telling the story. And I think Toni Morrison's writing style will just be like that as well, and just really like absorb me into this book and make me feel like so deeply for these characters. And again, I'm just like excited to actually find out what it is, because I don't think it is a multi-generational story. I don't know where I pulled that from. This last book is one that I'm actually nervous to read, because I have hyped it up in my head so much, and that is Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. This came out just when I joined BookTube, so it was kind of the first book that I noticed everyone on BookTube reading, everyone hyping up, everyone loving. I have seen like since then like some more negative reviews, but like at the time everyone was talking about it, and they still are to today. Like, people just talk about this book all the time, and that is Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. I have had this on my TBR since I joined BookTube, and I went and tried to get it from the library, and then the library's copy was like stolen by someone, so it went missing. And then I kept like just, I don't know, I just never got it, because I was like wanting the paperback, because I prefer paperback, and then just things kept happening. And then finally for Christmas last year, like 2020, so like last month, I got ninth house, so I'm so excited to read it. It is like dark academia, which I haven't really read anything of, I don't think. And again, it just explores like dark topics. It has so many trigger warnings, but I love that. I love, like, I've already discussed My Dark Vanessa, like taboo topics and like dark topics that really push people like to the brink of like their emotions and stuff. Like, I am just so excited to read this, and I really hope it lives up to my expectations in my head. And I do have a like theory. I don't know if it's a theory, but I have this feeling that although I'm saying it's a 5-star prediction, it could go the complete opposite way and be like 2 stars, because I've just like created this story in my head of what Ninth House is, and I don't know if it's even going to live up to it. I've never even read any Libertigo books. Like, this will be my first Libertigo book, so fingers crossed that it actually is 5 stars. Honestly, if it's 4 stars as well, I will be happy. Like, I don't know, I just really hope it actually is good, because I've been looking forward to it for so long. So those were some of my 5-star predictions. I had a few others that I was kind of on the fence about. I was like, I don't know if this will be 5 stars. Like, I was going back and forth, and I was like, if I'm going back and forth, then that obviously means I'm not like completely certain, so I shouldn't even put it on the list. Like, all of these ones are ones that like straight away, when I was going through my physical TPR list, I was like, yeah, 5 star, 5 star, 5 star. So let's hope they are. I would definitely like come back at the end of the year and do like a checkup. That would be a fun end of year video. I love end of year videos. That kind of like revived my channel. Like last month, CEO doing all like the end of like 2020 videos. I just love it. I don't know. They're like fun, and they're like kind of easy to put together as well, which is always a bonus. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and please subscribe, and definitely let me know your thoughts on any of these books. I know quite a few of them are like very hyped up, so I'm assuming you will have thoughts on them. If you have thoughts on Ninth House, like definitely let me know. Battle Royale as well, like let me know. All of them, obviously. And also check out Lisa's video. I will link it in the description. It'll be like the top link, just under like my little description of the video and above my socials, which I never talk about, but all of my links to like my Twitter, Instagram, Bookstagram, which I don't actually use that much, and Goodreads are all in the description. So if you want to add me or follow me on anything, check them out. I normally follow back, unless your like account has no tweets and no following or no followers or whatever. But yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.